Here we are.
Hey.
We got Tim back.
Welcome back, Tim.
Tim
happy
shot a
to be
nice
back.
buck down in Montello.
Did ya?
He did.
How big are we talking?
Public
A nice
land.
10-pointer on public land.
buck. Dandy.
10-pointer. All right. Good
We're
job.
proud of him sending them down there. There. I thought I had this on the thing, but there's a new state record
Crossbow.
buck. down in-
Largest-
what county was it?
Trempealeau.
Trempealeau,
County.
West.
Largest typical whitetail shot in Wisconsin with a crossbow by far.
Yeah.
Oh.
By far, is that true?
It's going to beat the old record by like 17 inches, which is
Oh!
significant.
And this guy was in his 20s.
Yeah, I actually went to college with him.
Oh.
Fished on the fishing team with me.
Does he have both arms?
He does.
Just wondering why he's using a crossbow then.
I don't know. Yeah.
Does that seem like cheating a little bit?
Oh, it's cheating.
It's kind of one of those hunter
It's cheating.
controversy. Like you either like can't stand crossbows unless you like have I understand them from the point of if you actually have a purpose. Like if you're handicapped, if you're old, you can't pull back a bow. I think it's great because they get people out hunting. But there's a large side of the hunting community that can't stand
You
them.
have a scope, and you
Yeah.
can shoot 60 yards with
further than
essentially
that.
a gun.
Gun.
Yeah,
It's a
80
gun.
yards.
Yeah.
A gun shooting arrows.
I hate them too.
I don't hate them. You know, I feel the same way you do. They have their role in.
Yeah. But when
and
18-year-olds and 20-year-olds are shooting them, it's
I'm 50 and I'm not playing that game.
Right.
So whatever. I don't even know how I brought that up.
Well, congratulations, you cheater.
Yeah. Congratulations. Like if
you
you'd been
said-
a 60-year-old dude, I'd have been like, oh, that's cool.
You said you know him. Could we get him?
I know him well.
Could we get him for an interview?
Well, you
I
think
can
he's
text
gonna,
him.
you think
And
he's
go
gonna
after
interview
him?
now that I attacked him?
I think he would actually kind of laugh a little bit about it.
He's got to be able to defend his kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess the way I would defend it is just be like, why not? It's legal.
Yeah, I
you
suppose.
know. So, but to me, that it should be like 3 distinct seasons. It should be like a gun season, an archery season, and a crossbow season, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think you should only be able to kill it if you track it down and tackle it with your bare hands and
so dumb.
and then stab it or something like that.
Like we've had
Sure.
some stabbings.
Yeah.
There's some people who
Yeah.
can pull that off in Wisconsin, I'm sure.
Yep. Then it's a fair fight, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree,
All right,
actually.
Andrew, I'm all for that. 1,200 years ago, there was some Native Americans fishing on Lake Mendota.
This is a cool story.
Yeah.
I love this story. It came out again like right after our podcast last week. So they were fishing, you know, and much like the Edmund Fitzgerald, Mendota got a little rough, and the canoe went down.
Yeah.
And
The winds of November came
It
early.
sat on the bottom of Lake Mendota for 1,200 years.
Yeah.
A diver found it. Did you guys see it?
It's so cool.
I wouldn't have even known it was a
No, it looked like a log.
Yeah, but I would have been like, that's a really cool log. I want that to be a bench in my yard. I'd have like pulled it out. You know, it's a 1,200-year-old artifact. I have no clue.
Yeah. The canoe dates back to approximately the year 850.
Oh my god. I just think that's fascinating.
Yeah, to the year 850, you said?
Yeah. Yeah. The discovery came earlier this year when a diver went testing some scuba diving equipment and just found it by sheer chance about 30 feet underwater. It still had fishing equipment in it.
Yeah, it had like lead
Seriously?
weights or something. they
Weights
said.
and
yeah.
parts of a net and things
Like
like that.
rocks, I would assume, as weights.
Yeah, I said lead, but
Yeah.
maybe they were rocks. A weighted net, I think, is what it said. didn't it?
Gosh, that's just. Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
Where's
This goes
it
back to us
going?
wanting to scuba dive.
It's
know?
about being afraid of swimming.
Right.
Well, it's going to go to a conservation facility to save it. May take a couple of years to preserve it.
Man, so cool.
Yeah, so once you pull that out of the water, I'd assume it's probably has a propensity to like fall apart, crack. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I mean, I'm
Yeah, I don't
surprised
know
at
what
how well it's still together.
Right.
Yeah, especially since Mendota is shallow, and I think it's typically a pretty warm lake in the summer. But I guess wood can't rot if it doesn't have air. So,
Right. They said it was found in about 30 feet of water.
well, that's a pretty deep section of Mendota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
I wonder if the people made it.
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder
how good they were at
They'd be an
swimming.
awesome interview right now. Wouldn't
They would be.
Yeah.
Historians believe the canoe belonged to the ancestors of the Ho-Chunk Nation.
What is there? Did they know like this? How did they figure that out? Just because that's who would have been here? They
I
just
think
Probably.
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, from that canoe sinking to an airplane crashing in the front yard of an Ashland
Yeah, this
family's
was a
lawn.
sad story.
This was a sad story. again, I love the media here. They were shocked to see a plane crash in their front yard.
You don't say.
Wow.
That would be the
doesn't-
reaction someone would have.
It's shock and awe.
It wasn't just like, oh, honey, another one hit the lawn.
Yeah. Hey, there's another one coming in here. You should get inside.
Take cover, sweetie. Here comes another plane.
Yep. Yeah, it's like seeing deer go through a yard. It's a little exciting the first couple times, but yeah.
After that, whatever.
Yeah, my wife and I were sitting in the living room. We had the TV on, probably attempting to doze off. I planned to take a pedal bike ride, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
It was middle of the day.
What's sad is that the homeowners knew the kids that were in the
Oh,
plane.
really?
Yeah. So then when they went up, they looked in there and they knew exactly who it was and said like, oh yeah, we went to their graduation party. It's at
dang.
small town Wisconsin.
Oh,
So these
and they
are
were
young,
killed?
young
Yeah.
people, young pilots?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
I did not know that part of it.
Yeah. So
And I'm
that's
guessing
sad.
they took off and then crashed in like right around Ashland. It all happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said
must
the
have been
homeowners
up
knew
down.
the young man and woman killed, recounting their graduation parties they attended.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's move on.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about the 11-year-old who got arrested for
Yeah, that'll cheer us up.
stealing cars. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
It's a much brighter story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta like, what were you doing at 11 years old?
I was selling drugs, stealing guns.
How do you?
Car if I could get one.
How does this even happen?
Yeah, I don't get it either. What city was this in? I thought it was in Madison.
Madison.
I feel like at 11, I was still playing make believe with sticks in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you were fake stealing cars.
Yeah.
I was just imagining stealing cars
I
at that
just
point.
thought about it.
Yeah. 4 juveniles arrested in Madison for stealing a Toyota Prius.
He was the youngest, right?
Yeah, there was 11-year-old, 16-year-old, a 13-year-old,
man,
and
really?
a 14-year-old.
I feel like the most disappointing part of the story is that they went for a Prius.
That's the best you could do.
Of all the things you could steal in Madison, you go for a Prius. Well, is these kids must have just been all like neighborhood kids because the age span is pretty significant there, 11 to 16. Typically, 16-year-old kids don't hang out with 11-year-old kids.
Yeah, there must have been either from the same neighborhood.
I'm guessing this
or
kid just
same
got
relatives.
caught up with some kids who were doing stuff they shouldn't have been, and he was the youngest of the group. But
So 11-year-old and 16-year-old, their charge is operating a motor vehicle without consent. The 13-year-old was, again, well, I guess they're all operating without consent, except the 14-year-old also got resisting arrest.
That one took off. That one thought he
Oh,
was
I bet
fast.
he did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If I was 14, I'd
would've.
take off.
Oh, absolutely.
I would
I know I
definitely
would've.
feel like I was faster than any donut-eating cop that was chasing me.
Yeah. Well, you still have it that you're still very naive and
Yeah.
you have some invincibility.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 14 years old and trying to steal a Prius, you're probably pretty naive. I mean,
Right.
you're gonna.
Yeah. Your judgment's already a little skewed.
Yep.
Yep. Impaired judgment. We got a lot of stories about teenagers this week.
That's fun.
Well, this story came out, I think, the day after we recorded last week. The Edgewood High School football team had to forfeit all of its games. They were undefeated and expected to win a state
Yeah,
championship.
I don't understand. Andy, do you know the background behind this one?
I actually understand it a
Okay,
little bit.
go ahead.
No. I don't.
You probably know it more than I do. Well, here's what
I skimmed it, but-
I gathered that they had a transfer kid from another state.
Oh, okay.
And he should have been sitting.
Was he
Or-
like
or either-
36?
Yeah, something like that. No,
He was 22 years old. Had played professionally for a
yeah,
short time.
he played for the Texans, and
They drafted him out of the CFL, and he.
from Manitoba.
But go ahead. So you.
Well, the only part of this I know is that there is like some type of weird mandatory sitting process, or you have to live with your parents. So I don't know. So last year's Northland Pines High School hockey team had 2 transfer kids from Illinois. And there was controversy that their season was going to be upended because these kids didn't transfer properly and their parents didn't actually live in a district and a whole bunch of
Really?
weird stuff. Yeah.
Weird.
And it ended up shaking out that none of it was true, but there is like a weird high school transfer protocol, which is odd to me because there's school of choice. So it's like, so what is the hang up? Does this story say?
I guess that's the part I didn't understand. Why?
Yeah, it wasn't that he was 22 and played in the CFL.
It said the WIAA originally ruled that the school obtained a waiver for a player last year, allowing him to play varsity sports immediately after transferring from a school in Texas, but they did not get one that granted an extra year of eligibility to cover this year. So here's my
So
guess.
he's redshirted?
No, here's my guess. In other states, you can play varsity as a 7th and 8th grader. In Minnesota, you can do that.
Really?
So, but in Wisconsin, you can't. You get 4 years of sports. You can't play in 7th and 8th grade. You get 4 years. So if he started,
even
if
a
he
fifth-year
if he played,
Meaning if you flunked a grade.
yeah, I don't think he can play.
Well, that's I'm asking. I'm being
Yeah, I don't think
serious.
you can
Like,
play.
say for example, you flunked your sophomore year. Okay, if you flunked your sophomore year and you wanted to come back, you could only play.
I don't think you could play your senior year then.
Right.
Right.
You're
So in this case, my guess is that he played varsity football, let's say, and in 8th grade in Texas, and transferred as a senior where he had 4 years under his belt, and now that he used him up
Okay, so
in Wisconsin. That's my guess.
This kid's playing varsity in 8th grade in Texas. He's a stud.
I'm curious.
Well,
yeah,
this
right?
team is good.
Yeah.
Undefeated. They were whipping teams.
I'm curious if you're good enough to play when you're in 7th and 8th grade,
Especially in Texas.
I
mean,
see
like,
I see the back end of that because the older you get, you start to mature pretty quickly once you start to hit that 17, 18, 19 years old thing. So I understand it on the back end, but on the front end, that's another game that parents who are big into their kids being good athletes play.
holding them back and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that.
they like hold them back a grade, so when they're a senior, they're actually a full 18. Like I was 17 when I graduated.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
I guess again, I understand that on the back end when you're a little bit more mature, but on the front end, I don't see any reason why if a kid's 11 years old, he's old enough to steal a car, he should be able to play varsity athletics.
I agree.
Right?
Right.
That's my point of view. But I don't know. I guess I was disappointed for these kids because you figure like I remember being in that position when high school and the sports meant a lot to you, and now all of a
Right.
sudden you think you're like this really good football team, and then some bull like this pulls the plug on your season.
Yeah, so basically, I don't know if we covered this. Basically, what happened is they got their whole season canceled. They're
Yeah.
they're out of the playoffs. They don't
Yeah.
get to play any more of their games. They went from undefeated to done.
And that is what happened. I'm reading this. He's had 5 years of high school football already before coming to
That's
Edwin.
that's insane.
Well, I'm going to move to another story quick just because Karen came down.
Uh-oh.
This Wisconsin restaurant is reviving the Midwestern Supper Club tradition, and it's housed in a former train station.
Ooh.
There's a supper club that opened in Madison, and it is called the Harvey House, I think. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
So I was curious we are not ready for you yet, Karen. Unless you want to
Oh my
come in.
gosh.
Actually, you can come in and be a guest. Oh, now I scared her
Well, yeah,
away.
that was mean.
I did a similar thing to Eric last week. I got threatened with my life. Remind me to bring up what happened off air with Eric after last week when I questioned how much snow he got at his house.
Okay.
Anyway, Karen, I want you to come back here, please. The Harvey House is a restaurant in Madison in the typical supper club tradition. So I was like, oh, well, so the Harvey House must be something with like a Wisconsin root, but it has no roots to Wisconsin.
No, and another thing too, it says reviving the Midwestern Supper Club. I didn't realize they were dead.
No.
Yeah, no. This whole article was like, I
It's
think
offensive.
I think it was just them getting some publicity for their supper club, which
Yeah,
is
for sure.
fine. But the Harvey House is kind of a cool story, but it was all out west, built off of the railroad
Oh.
thing, and that's why I gave it to you guys as a wiki,
Okay.
just in case if you wanted to go down that hole. But
Sure.
anyway, so what I did is I pulled a review from the Harvey House, and there aren't many because it's a relatively new restaurant, but there are 90 some reviews, and it gets like just glowing reviews.
Yeah,
almost
this place looks gorgeous.
the interior of it, I want to go there. The decor is just cool as hell. And they have 4.8 stars on 88 reviews. They had one bad review.
Uh-oh.
Karen, what happened when you went there?
All of the courses, dishes we had were not very good. One was even undercooked. Lack of flavor, high prices for the quality and portions. Also, multiple servers were always coming to the table every few minutes to fill water, clear plates, bring new plates, etc. It was very distracting.
Thanks, Karen.
I
There's
think,
nothing worse than great service.
Oh
at a
my
restaurant.
gosh.
I think this is just an obvious one. What? I mean, I am pissed at these people doing their jobs well.
There is nothing worse than my
you
water glass
believe-
always being full.
Yeah, they filled my water. I was thirsty and I got water.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
I've been to aggressive restaurants like that where they have like multiple servers who all have like a role. Like
Yeah.
when you're done with the plate, it gets removed. And I actually kind of like that.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, no kidding.
I thought it was
Oh,
funny.
man.
Though. But
That
this
is really
place
funny.
is beautiful, and if you have never been able to experience a supper club, this to me is not a supper club based on what it
No,
looks like.
no.
Again, we've already laid down the prerequisites of a supper club: cheap prices, carpeted walls, a good old fashioned. Those
Yep.
are what you need.
Very, very dimly lit.
yes. So you can't see the dirt or
Yeah,
the
a couple
the
lights
out
are
of-
even flickering, so they're just
Yeah.
about to go out.
or the out of in style decor.
Yes.
But the Harvey House
Yeah.
in
If you're looking to go to a
Madison.
restaurant and be ignored, don't go to the Harvey House.
They
No.
got to have some old portraits on the wall with like old gold frames and just like the classic.
Pictures of previous owners only because the new owners
Yes.
didn't take them down.
Yes.
Not because they're paying homage.
Okay, so what happened with Eric? You said he threatened your life?
Well,
Yeah.
he didn't threaten my life. So it takes Andy like a day to put the podcast together.
A little bit, yep.
And I came down the next day because I liked you guys and I like to talk to you guys. And I don't know, all of a sudden, Eric was mad at me. And I was met with more than a little bit of animosity about how I approached the amount of snowfall he got. He came at me, I thought, aggressively. Did you not think so?
Yeah. Eric, do you want to come defend yourself? And you have pictures of your snow, don't you?
He says he doesn't need to defend himself. But he came out of nowhere. He told me that he had a plan to sabotage when we posted the new podcast last week.
He's really hostile here.
Yeah, and I was like, well, what the hell? And then he went into this, you're always so sure of yourself, so sure of yourself, so sure of yourself. And he said it like 6 or 8 times. I'm not kidding you. It ruined the rest of my day. Like, I felt pretty bad. I'm like, I don't know what I did. I thought it was all fun on the air. But apparently, it stewed with Eric for 24 hours. And he told me that he set me straight. He said that I'm always so sure of myself and that next time he has 1.5 inches of snow, he doesn't have to prove it, or that's what happened. So I apologize on air to Eric for calling him out on possibly not having 1.5 inches of snow and everybody else barely had traceable amounts. Eric had the thundercloud over his home, and he genuinely did have 1.5 inches of snow, and I apologize for being so sure of myself that he didn't get that much snow.
I will say, to Eric's defense, last year, multiple times, I would measure snowfall at our home, and my parents, who are 5 miles down the road, we would have measurable amount of more snow than they did, and I had no idea why.
Okay, well, you and Eric live in the snow belt.
Yeah.
I'm taking back.
Snow belt.
I'm taking back what I said because it clearly made Eric mad enough that he wanted to sabotage posting last week's episode. I was afraid to even look because did he post something that was?
I don't think. Did you post it to Facebook?
No, I was afraid.
No, he didn't. Then my hunch is that when you posted the thing, he was gonna post a photographic evidence of how much snow that he actually had.
Oh,
to
I
make
think
you
it
look
went
a
way
fool.
deeper than that. I think he had nudes of me or something.
Oh,
Why would he have nudes of you?
I don't know, but he was like he had a look in his eye
you
like
sending
he was
nudes to Eric?
No, well, sometimes.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he had a look in his eye like there was going to be
my
equalization of me doing this to him. And what was weird is like I didn't sense that he was mad on the air, but he clearly carried a grudge 24 hours later and told me, put me in my place. I felt bad the rest of the day.
Post pictures of Jeff. I'll show you 1.5 inches.
I felt, and I had, yeah, exactly. See, that would have been funny. That would have been funny. I would have liked that, but I don't think that's what he was gonna do. You know?
oh, Tim, I give you props for that one. That was
well,
And of note, I haven't come downstairs since.
until today?
Only for the podcast.
Wow.
I had to talk to Eric today, and I chatted him.
Oh,
Moving-
that was a fun tangent.
Moving
Yeah,
on.
I enjoyed that.
Moving on. Well, we got another thing to bring up here because Andy has an axe to grind with Charlie Barron's. And Charlie
I
Barron's.
liked that.
Yeah.
Axe to grind. I liked that. That was a good segue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good job.
Charlie has an axe to grind with, Andy.
Yeah.
But so there's a new movie out.
yeah. Tell me about this movie.
Well, it's an indie film.
Okay.
That it's called God Loves the Green Bay Packers, and it
Which is a fact.
undisputed. They made a movie about farmers in the 1993
Yep.
Green Bay Packer team, which I don't. What's going on here?
Well, Craig T. Nelson is in it. That's interesting.
I don't know who that is.
That's Coach. You remember that show?
oh. That's him?
Yeah.
The bald guy?
Yeah, the main dude. Yep, he was. I think that he was the coach of the it was a Minnesota team. or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, Minnesota State or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I did not read this article, so I'm not
And
sure.
Charlie Barron's is in it. But when we were talking about this article, and you said you were unprepared for it, and you said, "Well, Charlie Barron's is in it." Ooh, or wow, and you were very
I
sarcastic.
said, yeah, like, oh, we're
Charlie
really excited
Barron's
for
is-
that. Yeah.
So what's the Charlie Barron
No.
story?
So when he was just starting out, I mean, he put out 1 or 2 or 3 of the Wandering Wisconsin things. Now you do remember, don't you?
Yeah.
He put out he was very infantile, and I contacted him and said I want to join with you. I want to be your like north of
yeah.
Highway 8 correspondent. And he said, hey, that sounds fun. Why don't you do a couple and send them to me? So we were communicating with each other. At that point, he hadn't gotten.
I forgot.
that
You even
big.
did like demo tapes for
I
him.
did a couple demo tapes and sent them to him, and he said, very cool. And then never used them and never talked to
You
me
weren't
again.
good enough for him.
No, I wasn't good enough for him because.
Would you have just preferred? He said, like, listen, these aren't what I was looking for. He could have either given you some direction.
I was
to
going to
go-
give you some direction.
Yeah.
No, so my hunch is that he saw him and thought, oh, shoot, this guy's better than me.
He may have.
He's going to steal my thunder. I'm just going to
I
pretend
think I
didn't see
saw
these.
those, and you even used the Barons-esque voice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we did we did a form of that same character when we did the Junker Sled, so I was
Yes,
on the
yes,
right track
yes,
when
it
I
was
said the
similar to that.
snowmobile thing. I was thinking of it. I think I thought it came out of that, but it was previous to that.
Yep, previous to that.
You know, you should have just done that on your own right then and there. But
And then taking him over. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, he had a good thing starting, and I wanted to, and
In all seriousness, do you think he's clearly making a living from
Oh,
this,
yeah.
but he's making a living from everything collectively.
Yeah.
Like he's got to be making a living from, he does stand up.
Mm-hmm.
He does, I'm sure he does like private appearances.
yeah, I think he's grinding,
He's got
actually.
spot-
Like, he's doing a lot of stuff.
I think he's putting a ton of work
Right.
into making this a living. I don't
Right.
think it's just like him with the YouTube channel
No,
and YouTube
right.
revenues.
According
rolling
to the
in.
Google, he has a net worth of about $321,000.
So slightly less than Eric.
Yep. So what does it say in this thing? What it's about?
The 1993 Packers.
No,
and
but you
Farmers.
said something about farmer. Like,
I don't know. That's what it says.
No.
It doesn't really say. It's pretty vague.
okay.
It says it follows farmers and the 1993 Packers. Doesn't the opening paragraph say something?
Centered on farming in northeast
Yeah.
Wisconsin and the 1993 Packers season.
Yeah. That's so.
I mean, had I known that they were filming this thing, I would have hopped over there and forced my way onto the set.
It kind of sounds
I would've
cool.
been an extra.
I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, there was another thing similar to this, an indie film about the Packers.
It was the 60-yard line.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Yeah, they showed it here at the local theater.
Was it funny?
It was definitely it was a low budget.
Because Charlie Barron's wasn't in
No,
it, so
he
it wasn't
yeah,
funny.
Right.
Yeah. And Andy didn't get a cameo in it.
No.
So you think this could be better maybe than the
Yeah.
60-yard line?
Yes, I do. I think it'll be better than that.
So when did they show that in Three Lakes? I missed that.
Oh, that was
A long time
yeah,
ago.
5 years ago or more. Yeah.
All right. Well, we were talking about things that were canceled, and I was going to roll into this, but Karen threw me off of my rhythm. Beloit School District, all the schools have been canceling things, and this wasn't just the football team. They canceled classes on Friday for Beloit, and the reason was,
There was a scheduled protest?
the protest. But do you know what the protest was about?
Well, the school district came under fire last week after allegations arose that a teacher at the middle school
Yes.
had taped a
Yes.
middle school student's mask to his face.
Yes. Okay. So
Did you hear how he taped it too?
Yeah, he taped it right around his head.
Said he wrapped the tape
Yeah,
right around his whole head.
head. So I feel like I read this and I'm like, yeah, I can see it.
Uh-huh.
That
Oh,
could have
yeah.
happened to me.
Yeah.
I think there
But
was
you would have
more.
deserved it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's my point that I was trying to make. I think
Okay.
there was a hell of a lot more to this story.
Yeah.
There always is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, oh, crazy wild teacher tapes mask to poor student's head. I'm wagering.
That little ingrate deserved it. Absolutely.
Did we lose it again, Andy?
No, we're going.
No, I'm wagering that that there was more to this story, that I'm alleging that he was running his mouth or had been playing with his mask
yeah.
or doing something.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. That's why that's today's society though.
Yeah, and now we have a whole
yeah.
protest about it. And
Yeah,
school has to get
protest.
canceled. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a protest in Eagle River like maybe 2 weeks ago about a book they were reading. Did you guys?
I did see that.
What
But it
book?
was like 6 people with signs.
Yeah, I think it was similar to.
Well, that's a big turnout. And he goes,
Didn't we have a story about a book, or did we not talk about it? There was a school district a board member who read a book out loud at a board class or at a board meeting, and he came under fire, but it ended up being a book that was in their library.
Yeah.
I think this was a similar
Similar
deal.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, there was like a sexually explicit part of this
what
book.
book was it in Eagle River? Do you remember?
I Googled it when it came up.
Yeah, they told me, and I never read it. I didn't recognize it.
No, and even reading the synopsis, there was nothing like that. Seemed the plot of it had nothing weird or salacious about it, but there must have been a scene or something in it that.
I live with 3 kids who went through Northland Pines High School, and this was required reading for all 3 of them. And I asked them what part of the book was that, and they were all like, "Oh, well, I didn't read it."
Not a single one of them knew.
Yeah,
One of
I
them.
don't know.
That's why this
Not
book.
one of
It
them.
wasn't
I
highlighted
said-
in clip
I said,
notes.
had you known this was in it, you would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why this book has been in the library for 30 years and nobody's complained because
That's
none of
funny.
the kids ever read it.
So you want to hear? Okay, I'm going down to Cheezehole.
Okay.
So required reading now. Like I think back to when I was in high school. Sure, there was Cliff's Notes, but nobody could afford to buy them, nor could you find
Right.
them anywhere within 100 miles of Three Lakes. So you either relied on your friend who read it to tell you the gist of it and hoped you could pass the quiz, or you had to read it. But now,
Yeah.
with the internet, like literally. Cliff's Notes on steroids. You can find out everything about every book, and even
probably.
even like the intellectual thinking behind parts of the book. Like if
The
a
meanings of the.
yeah, like if a teacher were to ask, like, what does that mean for slavery, or what does that mean for civil rights, or what does that mean for, whatever.
Yeah.
There's deep thinking behind it. So they don't read the books; they just look up the answers to the questions on the internet.
Yeah, you're right. I read the
dick.
books. I liked reading, and I still like reading, so I always read them.
I'm ashamed to say I love reading, but for whatever reason, I read short bursts. A lot of like more magazine type stuff, online magazine type stuff, articles. If I have a good book in front of me, I'll bang it out in a couple of nights. But
Sure.
That's what she said.
Right.
with my inch and a half,
A couple of nights.
Eric could have got his payback. See how easy it was for. I like that you two gave my payback on Eric's behalf because you stuck up for him.
Yep. Well, we're still here.
Yep. Well, anyway, so Beloit,
I just didn't
there was
want
a
Eric to
protest
threaten my
because a
life.
teacher taped the kid's mask up over his nose.
Back in the day, you used to be able to do that.
I'm sorry, that's a funny scene.
Yeah.
Back
That's
in
from,
the-
that's from a movie. Yeah.
You know, in my high school day, a teacher would have done that to me, and we would have just been laughing.
Yeah.
Because I would have deserved it, and
Right.
then I would have been
Exactly.
laughing with
And
them,
even
and
the-
it would have been a.
The other kids in the class know who deserves it.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
they're not dumb.
Yeah.
Like our junior high school physical education teacher used to give you this neck clutch in the back of your neck. He'd grab the back of your neck and squeeze it until you just fall to the ground. Ow. yeah. And he did that to me daily.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
like never once did I not realize like I'm not deserving this. I'm not deserving this. Like I knew why I was getting.
I can see math teacher, Mr. Schott. We goofed around with each other so much. I can see him. Damn it, Dobbins, get up here. Let me tape that thing to your head.
Yeah.
And me being a cocky student would have walked right up there and
Yeah.
said, "Do it," and he
Yeah,
would
go
have,
for it.
and we'd have laughed.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Oh well.
different
times. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go. So last week there was a guy who sprayed bear pepper spray on a cop.
Yeah. Yep.
We know his name now.
Well, okay. So do you want to recap? Do you remember the story from last time?
He wasn't here.
But I listened to your
Okay.
podcast.
Okay. Well, tell us what you learned.
Yeah, this was a fun one. This guy took off. I mean, he got pulled over in a traffic stop. It was not his vehicle, correct?
The plates and the registration
Right.
and his
Oh,
name.
I
none
thought
of
it
that
it
was
mattered.
the
different.
campground woman. No, the campground woman was the one who said she was saving sex traffickers.
Right,
So
yeah.
this is a dude whose
This
car
guy
wasn't
just
his and
got-
he gave a fake name.
Yeah, and he got pulled over, gave a fake name, and then just laced the dude. Laced this officer, sprayed him in the face, took off. They got him with a spike strip.
Yep. Kept going.
Kept going.
Driving 70 miles an hour
There
without
was-
tires.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yes, his car burst
burned.
into flames.
It
It
burnt.
burnt.
Yep.
And then he just went off trying to mace all these other officers
Yep.
that
Yeah,
eventually
maced
got
another
him.
guy.
Not
And his-
mace.
and his-
It was bear spray.
And his car burst into flames.
Yeah.
It burnt.
Yeah.
It burnt.
So, and last time you said, do we know anything about this guy? Can we find his criminal history? Well, they hadn't put out his name.
Yep.
Now they did.
and
got
we
his-
looked him up.
I did look him
Yes.
up.
What is his name?
His name is-
Sovereignty.
He's 54 years old.
You have a multi-page criminal history there?
Yeah, I do.
His name is James J. Gallup.
Yeah.
And
As
where
in
is he
a
from?
horse.
Down in near La Crosse. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. But he was arrested for this whole thing happened in Lincoln County, so he was up on vacation or
traveling.
something. Traveling.
Vacation.
So he's got 62 entries
On his criminal record.
in the circuit court system.
So you were going to try and make this into like a true or false?
yeah,
or-
something kind of like that.
Oh, I like this.
I'm going to ask you some questions about his history, and you'd see kind of what you think, just based on what you know about this incident.
Okay.
If
If you-
he's capable of this
Yeah,
or not.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
So-
it's a true or false.
This is
So
gonna be good.
this-
Did he or didn't he?
This is, so this one kind of leads up based on these charges. How many charges, including these, are currently pending? for James-
pending, because
for-
you said he had 63 entries.
Yep. So you guys can keep score too. Yep.
Currently pending.
So,
is it
more than
multiple
more than
choice?
yep, more than
Okay.
5, more than 10, or more than 15?
Do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
I'll just go off and say more than 10.
Yeah, I think it's more than 10 as
That
well.
is correct. Yep.
Yes.
He's got 13 pending. 13 charges pending,
bad.
Including these or not including?
including these.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, battery to an officer,
Yeah, we asked what he was going to be charged with.
misappropriating ID,
Resisting arrest.
fleeing an officer, reckless endangerment, speeding, failing to stop, all that stuff. Driving,
All that fun stuff.
All that fun stuff. Yep.
All that stuff you rack up in a good getaway.
One good getaway gets you 7, 8 charges right off the bat. I knew it was more than 5.
Yeah. How many times has James J. Gallup been arrested for operating while suspended?
Oh.
More than 10
Oh, goodness.
or less than 10?
oh,
I
just
thought we were
over
gonna
under.
go higher.
Go high.
I'm gonna say a total of 14 times.
So more
over
than 10?
Yeah.
I think it's less than 10. I think it's like 9.
It is 9.
Oh! He told us don't cheat, and I did.
No,
Yeah.
dude, that's like you know much about this guy as you did about giraffes. That's amazing.
All right. True or false? James J. Gallup has been arrested while operating a motorcycle.
I'm going to say true because he probably didn't even have a license for one. It's probably like one of the.
Ooh, I like where your head went there. Just to
Yeah.
be different, I'll say false.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's true. Okay. True or false? James J. Gallup has been arrested for methamphetamine.
Oh, sure,
gosh.
sure. True.
yeah. How could he not? But
With
I'm going to go
62
false.
entries, I feel like you've done everything.
Do we know what's his age?
54.
He's
He's
54.
he's lived a life of crime, man.
Meth. Is that why he was heading to Lincoln County?
Is that why he
it's
gave
got-
a fake name?
Yeah, it's got to be true. It's false.
It is true.
It is true.
He's been arrested twice for meth, both of which were dropped as parts of plea deals.
Dude, you can always rely on a druggie to do meth.
We didn't know he was a druggie.
Yeah, 62
All right.
charges.
True or false? James J. Gallup has been extradited to another state for a crime.
Yeah, but you don't mess around in only Wisconsin
Yeah, you hit Illinois to get drugs.
or Minnesota.
True. How many times has James J. Gallup been arrested for something involving alcohol? He hasn't. More than 5. More than 10.
I'm just gonna go with the average, more than 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say more than 5 as well. I think that if you're in trouble with everything.
He hasn't.
That's not true.
He hasn't been arrested for anything involving alcohol.
How is that? Well, because if you're doing meth, why would you do alcohol? You don't need it.
I guess I'm the other way around. I do alcohol, not meth. I don't know.
I do both, I guess. I hadn't thought about it.
Mix and
All right.
match.
How many times has James J. Gallup obstructed, endangered, or beat up a law enforcement officer?
Oh, jeez.
More than 5? Or less than 5?
I hope it's less than 5.
Ugh, well, we know he's got 1 in the books already from this week. It's probably more than 5.
6.
It's barely more than 5, but more than 5.
Oh my god.
The police see him coming. You know, do you think that has something to do with it? Like, if you're a local cop and James Gallup is in your precinct,
Yeah.
you gotta be on the lookout
Yeah,
for
keep
him.
tabs on him,
Don't
yeah.
you think?
Probably.
Because you're like, oh, here comes trouble.
Well, how many times has he been to small claims court? He hasn't. More than 5. More than 10.
It's definitely more than 10 because people are probably suing him all the time for unpaid bills.
Yeah, you're probably right. He has no money.
Right. It's more than 10.
It is. It's 11.
Yeah.
11 times. So, which leads us to our following question. Which of the following has James J. Gallup not been sued by? The Lutheran Hospital, Cash Advance,
Okay.
199ride.com, or the Marine Credit Union?
These are good ones because
Jeez,
you're
all
leading
of
us
them
down.
are- yeah.
They all seem plausible, except when you said the Marine Corps Credit Union, he'd have to be either he would have had to have been a Marine or the son of a Marine. And I don't know that he could have had military service in him and ended up this up.
Father could have not been in the scene. That might be why.
199ride.com would be funny if that's the one that he hasn't been sued by, because they give automobiles to people with bad credit, but he's from the western part of the state, and I don't think they're there.
Well, they went through a huge lawsuit too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going 199ride because he doesn't live in that part of the state.
I am going to go out and say I like what you picked, by the way. I'm gonna go with the hospital.
The answer, which by the way, as a little caveat, there used to be in La Crosse a 199ride.
Oh, there was.
But that is the answer.
199 ride.
199 ride. So he's been sued by Lutheran Hospital, Cash Advance, and Marine Credit Union. Okay. Which of the following has he not been arrested for?
Was this almost done?
Yep. Two more. This one and the next one.
What has he not been arrested for?
Yep.
This is gonna be tough.
An unlawful U-turn. Arson.
Oh,
Credit card fraud.
burnt.
Or burglary.
Not been arrested for.
Yep.
Arson? Because wouldn't you be locked up? That's a felony.
What here isn't a felony?
Yes. I mean, that you'd be
like 30% of his record is felonies.
Yeah, but I feel like
Unlawful U-turn, arson, credit card fraud, or burglary.
I'm
unlawful
going.
U-turn is such a stupid one.
I think I think it's the U-turn.
Yeah,
because
because that's like unless they were trying to pull him over for something, that's what they got him.
I'm
for.
going U-turn.
I'll go arson.
Arson is right.
Yeah,
Oh,
that seems just severe.
All right, and the final kick in the crotch here. How many times has James J. Gallup been divorced?
oh boy.
None?
He's 50 something.
54. None. Twice. Or 4 times.
None, twice, or 4 times. I'm gonna say twice.
None.
4 times.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
Most of those you could have answered by picking the most severe answer.
Yeah.
And you'd have been right.
We need
This
a
guy's-
criminal hall of fame with like sovereignty in it.
We should get a poster.
This guy, yeah.
sovereign.
Anyway, there you go.
The last topic of the day is the clocks went back today.
Huh.
Well, it's Sunday this week. Spring ahead, fall back. Minnesota passed a bill to say we're done with this, didn't they? They're like, no mas.
Yep.
So does that mean is Minnesota gonna do this, and then when we go to Minnesota, there's gonna be a time difference?
Well, okay, so this is one of the issues that I'm most passionate about in the entire world.
Daylight savings.
Because this is one of the stupidest things we do
I
as a
hate
country.
it. Yeah.
Okay?
See, I don't mind it because I get up. I'm an early bird, and I like the light on the front end.
But there isn't right now.
Yeah, I get up and it's light out now. At least I can see.
It's still dark when I start driving to work.
Yeah, but not like it was a week ago.
And then I get home and it's dark. I
Yep.
hate it.
Yep.
I absolutely hate it.
Well, anyway, so if Minnesota passes it, there will have been 19 states that have passed bills to keep daylight savings time, but none of them actually change because it's done at the federal level.
So what's the point?
Because it used to be that different counties could even have different times. Because I was talking to my dad about this, going on a rant. He said that when he was younger, Minnesota and Wisconsin were on different times. So in his lifetime, Wisconsin and Minnesota were on different clocks, different times.
How?
Because at that time, the federal government hadn't passed everybody needs to be on this time. Because they didn't do that till the 60s.
That's goofy.
Till the mid 60s, they said that there's too much time change going on
Well,
between.
I'll say that even like the UP's on 2 different time zones, and that messes with me.
Yeah, it does.
So I get the idea of like trying to be uniform. Like it would be frustrating if Minnesota was an hour behind us.
So the only 2 states, it's Arizona and another one, that I think they opt out of daylight savings time. So they don't adjust for the summer like we do. So they're always on the standard time. I think that's what it is. But everyone else, like now we're trying to go the other way. We're trying to make daylight savings the permanent thing,
Oh,
which is right now we're on
Daylight savings.
No, right
We're
now
on
we're on standard time.
okay.
Daylight savings is what happens during the summer.
Okay.
That's what we want.
So they
Yeah,
want that
that's
one
what
to
we
go
want.
away.
They want to
Keep
we want to
daylight
keep
saving.
it. We want to keep daylight savings.
And make standard time go away.
So we want
which
the
is right
time to be
now.
like it is now, or like it was.
No,
a week
like it
ago?
was.
like it was in the summer.
Yeah.
I
would
don't
agree
have
with
strong feelings either way. I don't. I don't know. I think it's odd.
Okay, here's another fun fact. I feel so passionately about this that last time we changed our clocks, I went on a Twitter rampage and started tweeting at all of the public officials in and around the state of Wisconsin. And
You got too much time on your hands, buddy.
I got kicked off of Twitter.
No way.
No, you did
I
not.
did so.
For that?
I was suspended for 30 days for spamming politicians.
That's
You're going to end up
you're on their criminal hall
with
of fame.
yeah. You're going to have your mugshot up there.
No.
Are you going to part your hair for the mugshot, or are you going to do the comb over? That's what started this last
yeah,
week.
I
Oh, yeah,
heard-
you
yeah.
listened, right?
Yeah.
That was
probably-
on air, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and Eric came into work today and he said, "Look at me. I got my hair combed over too."
Did he?
No, it looks the same as it always does.
Well, that was my point on air
Yeah.
when he made fun of you. I said Eric comes in
guys.
with his hair unkempt
Yep.
almost every day. But I can't say anything mean about Eric anymore because I don't know, I feel bad the next day because he's
Well,
Let you have it.
I'm proud of you for going on a rampage because I think it's stupid.
It is very stupid.
again, like I don't get it. It's to me, it's like, oh, well, what it used to be more frustrating to me when you had clocks you had to move, but now when you wake up and your life is just automatically changed for you, like, you know what I'm saying? Because like your cell phone clock now, and like
Yeah.
I have this little Amazon clock in my bedroom, and I
Yeah,
woke up,
my watch
and-
figured it out.
Yeah, and the time was just adjusted, so it wasn't as like shocking to me to be like, well, what time is it? That used to be like, well, did we change this clock yet? Is it really 10 or is it 11?
My biggest beef is that it starts to get dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
It just like takes away
That's
like
insane.
my energy I would have when I would get home from work, and now I get home and it's dark. It's just like, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything.
The one thing it does for me is I lose that 1 hour to go out in my bow stand after work.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
terrible.
I'm just gonna get a crossbow because then I can be much swifter with what I kill.
Might as well
anyway.
put night vision on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
night vision crossbow.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah. Other than that, do you want to do that 13 places in Wisconsin you must visit, or do you not care? Because it was just done by some random news source.
Well, sure.
Because we don't have any events because there's nothing happening in November.
No.
Yeah. So
No event November.
it was Thrillist, which I've heard
one.
of.
Yep.
Said there's 13 places you must truly experience in Wisconsin, and I want to see how many of the 13
Okay.
you guys agree.
It
with.
almost sounds like it doesn't leave us a choice.
Yeah. Well, I think this is squarely into
yes.
people who don't know what to look for.
Right.
So number 1 on the list, Door County. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I agree as well.
I
fan.
think I've only been to Door County as a toddler or something
So
where
you're
I
gonna
don't remember. I
abstain?
do not remember it. Yep.
You abstain.
Yep.
Okay, so we have 2 agrees and an abstain. The Wisconsin Dells.
That's a must see as far as it's just
I've been through it, but I've never experienced it. Like I've never been on the water ride, went to the circus museum.
I would say disagree. Too chaotic and too many people.
well, no, see that okay. Well, that's where I'm at now because
It's a tourist trap.
Yes, it is
Yeah,
because
but
when you check into your water park motel, it is so insanely packed that it's just
Yes.
not fun anymore.
Yes.
and you just
So
feel
are you
like
changing your vote?
no. I stand by my vote in that it's something that
You should
if you're going to see
experience.
stuff in Wisconsin, you
said
got to
yes,
see
You
Wisconsin.
said no. I say no, so that's a no. Number 3. Lambeau Field.
Easy, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. No more discussion. Devil's Lake State Park. I don't think I've been there.
I don't know if
I have.
Where is it?
It's in Baraboo. It's
well, more reason to go to the Wisconsin Dells than
it's-
the Wisconsin Dells.
If you're gonna go to that area, go there. It's beautiful. I highly recommend it. You can amazing hiking trails. You get really high up. It's beautiful.
I have to abstain because I haven't been there.
I don't think I've been there either.
So we're going to give it a yes based on 1, but that's the way it goes. The Apostle Islands.
I'm really second on these.
I've been there and love it.
Yep.
I'm saying yes.
Hard yes.
Yep. Andy, you've never been there?
I'm a disappointment.
Number 6 is Culver's, which is dumb.
No.
But it's like I say no. Yeah, it's a fast food restaurant and it's not a destination. If you're looking for a place to eat on your way to Devil's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I say if you're road tripping up here from Oklahoma where you don't have a Culver's and you're looking someplace to stop, by God, you better get your Wisconsin experience and stop at a
guess.
Culver's. So I say
So you're
hells
saying
to the yes.
I say no for a few reasons. 1, I think there are better fast food burgers. 2, they screwed us on the Critter Burger.
I say no as well.
You still harbor a little
Yeah,
grudge about that.
absolutely.
Number 7 is basically any of the Frank Lloyd Wright existing locations still. I say hard yes.
Yeah, hard yes. I've been to a lot of the Frank Lloyd Wright stuff. I have not been to Taliesin or House on the Rock, but a lot of the smaller places.
Yeah.
There's a few in Wausau even. And
They can't be meaning those are his premieres. So they
Yeah,
can't-
those are the big ones, yeah.
Exactly.
I'll give it a yes too. I like historical.
New
things.
Glarus is on the list. Is New Glarus on the list as a city or as the brewery?
It seems to be as a city, as a town.
I've never been there, so I'm gonna have to abstain.
Same.
I think I've been through it, but not.
So we're just
Not-
gonna put
yeah.
a dash on that one. Number 9, the Milwaukee Art Museum. I haven't been there.
I haven't been
Milwaukee
there,
Art
but
Museum.
I would say I would go
I've
there.
been.
I would like to see it.
They usually have top notch events, and the museum itself is cool because it's the outer design of it is like I think it's supposed to be like a sailboat where the whole structure opens its sails and closes its sails at different parts of the day based
that's
on based
that?
on where the sun
Oh,
is.
I didn't
yeah.
know that
Well,
was
then
that.
hard yes.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So let's not to change the subject, but slightly change it. Did you see there was a bunch of Banksies at the casino in Lac de Flambeau? There's a Banksy exhibit.
What?
You seriously didn't know this?
No.
It's been. I think it's leaving. Like if it's not gone already, it's leaving like this week.
How the heck
we
did
go
they
there
get that?
There's a bunch of them. There's like I want to say it's like 20 Banksies at the
Jeez.
yeah at
we
the
go?
Lac de Flambeau Casino Museum, or I don't know what it is. It's an art exhibit. Yeah, I was shocked too. I don't know how they got them and how do they secure them? Because aren't Banksies worth like $1 million a pop
Yeah.
or more?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Am I on number 10? I think so. Yeah, number 10. What is number 10? Is
Well, this would be number 9. 13 is number 9.
Farm? Is it? Okay, well whatever.
No,
it is.
you're right. You're right. Number 10. Sorry.
Number 10, Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center. I have not been there.
Me neither.
Where is it?
It's in Manitowoc.
Manitowoc.
Charlie Barron's runs it.
Then no.
Another thing.
It's basically a farm museum.
another thing he's got going on. It's a farm museum. So we'll just abstain, all of
Yeah.
us. Number 11 is the Dane County Farmers Market on the Square.
No.
I haven't been there, but I know people who rave about it.
Yeah, me too.
So if it's the premier farmers market, I have to abstain because I haven't been there. But I'd be inclined to say yes.
I would be inclined to say no. I just don't really like Madison, and that's just too many
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. I mean,
It's the people thing for me.
You guys are harsh on.
well,
I'm sorry.
I think
My
if
honest
you
opinion.
can hit up your local farmers market.
I would be more into those,
Yeah.
just personally.
so are
Not-
we saying yes, no, or abstain?
I'm giving a no.
You're giving a no.
I mean, I guess I have to abstain because I haven't gone there, but I don't have any, I don't want to go there.
Okay, well, all right. I'm just gonna say no. Alpine Valley, which I'm assuming is they're saying the music location, right?
No, this is a ski resort.
Oh,
90
well,
acres
It's
ski
both.
resort.
Better known for tour staff or big name bands. So, yeah.
I've been to Alpine Valley. I like concerts there. I don't think I like the idea that it's on a hillside, but I mean, I don't feel like it's a must see. I'd rather go to a concert at Lambeau Field than kill two birds
Oh,
with
sure.
one stone.
I like
There
where
you
your
go.
head's at.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no on number 12, Alpine Valley.
Okay.
Is that a no from everyone?
Yeah, that's fine. I haven't
Sure.
been there, so.
I don't know anything about
The
it.
last one to me was just weird. The Hodak sculpture in Rhinelander.
No.
What was the title of this article?
The
13
Must see.
13 places you need to visit to truly experience
To
Wisconsin.
experience Wisconsin. So they tucked that word experience in there, and the Hodag is a Wisconsin experience. It's definitely unique, but
Yeah,
is it
but it's
something
a
you gotta
3-second
do?
visit.
Yeah, it's you with a photo.
But if you can combine it with a visit to Country Fest or something like that.
But that Country Fest
sure.
wasn't on the list, but their Culver's is right next to the statue there. You could kill two birds with one stone there.
Oh,
too.
there you go.
could.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I feel like maybe on this, so I'll err to yes. You said no, Timmy?
Yeah.
Yes, I don't care.
Oh, okay. So 1, 2,
like I was the
3,
most
4,
negative one
5,
there.
6, 7 of the 13 we deemed were appropriate.
Deemed
So
worthy.
about half.
Yeah.
Well, which is about how many listeners we have left right now? About half. So with that, good afternoon.
Good evening.
And good night.